Continuing my rebuild of the game Caverns, never released on the ZX80 one. In the last video I looked at the scoring for the game. In this video I'm going to continue looking at that and also look at the game speed. Looking at the TypeScript version of the game, I can see that when I picked up Jules, which are the character 23, I'd increment the score by 500. For Mithril, the M character, I would increment the score by 1000. There are two types of rock, which I call hard rock and soft rock. The hard rock, I increment the score by 100, and the soft rock, I increment the score by 50. So going to the assembler, I want to do the same thing, same scoring pattern. So with the normal block, I added 5 calls to increment the score. With the hard rock, which is the 136 character, I'm just incrementing by 100, so that's quite simple. And then for the dual, I did 5 calls to increment score to get it to increment by 500. And because that's kind of a bit ugly with having these multiple calls to increment score, I added a routine where you could pass in the digit you wanted to increment and also how many times you wanted to increment it. So it would do call increment score in a loop. So that's just a bit neater. So for example, for the normal block, I pass in into a 1, which is the 10 digit, and then I pass in B 5 and then call the multi-increment score, which will increment the score by 50. So I think that's a bit neater. So to do this, I started looking at the Spectrum Next manual. I'm going to flick through and looking at the Z80 instructions instead of looking at my Z81 manual, which I was using before. And then the second thing I've been working on is getting the game speed working a bit better. So in the global variables file, there's a parameter game speed, which for normal speed is set to 3. But in the menu you can change that game speed, and the idea is that changes the speed of the game when you play. So in the game loop you've got a call to the delay, and that will look at the game speed variable and take that into account. So I've added extra code to the very simple delay routine that I had before, and now it's like two loops instead of just one loop. And BC is your main sort of counter, and then it loads in the game speed into D. So then there's the loop that was there before using BC and just counting down on that, and then it drops out into this next game speed, which is the second loop, and then it compares D from the game speed to vary the speed of the game. So this is the loop for when you play in the game. And then just looking at those code changes in Git, you can see that the stuff that I've added is the next game speed, which is the outer loop. So initially I tried to use this code in the menu loop as well as the game loop. So I was calling the delay here with a slightly different entry point, but this was how I tried to do it to start with. And then you just do the normal stuff, move the loop, check the keyboard. But I found that this was slowing down response to when you're pressing keys in the menu. So what I did was added the key check to within the delay loop. So you would move the lifts at the top to get that central lift moving, and then you've got the delay loop checking within the loop, checking the keyboard to see if anything's pressed. If anything's pressed, then load the screen or whatever is needed to do, or if X is pressed, exit, and then it continues with the loop, which is similar to the loop for the game loop. So another thing that I did was, when showing the menu screen, it'll load in the parameters for the game speed, the number of players, and the number of dwarfs. So this is quite a simple addition. For example, it just loads the game speed, and then it prints that into the screen, the menu screen. So just checking all that works, I run my make file, which pushes in my code into my cspect image, run up cspect, and then go to my Caverns program, and then you can see the lift is moving in the center, which it wasn't doing before. And then if I change this speed, the alien, pressing the A key, you see the lift in the center changes speed, and then going into the game. This is at the speed 3, which is the normal speed. You can see the game playing at that speed. And then if I change the alien speed, you can see the lift changing its speed. So when you go to 1, you can see it really speeds up. And then if I play it at that speed, you can see that it's now playing a lot faster. Then testing this on the next, I've copied across my Caverns next file, and you can see the lift in the center running there now. Changing the alien speed changes the speed of it, so it's speeded up there. And then if I want to play it, it'll play at whatever speed I've set it to. So one of the reasons the game development so far has been quite slow is because I was waiting for the next, so I wanted to do some testing on the next. I didn't want to write the entire game in an emulator, but now the next has arrived, I can do that. So hopefully things will speed up, and this is a good time of year for doing extracurricular coding outside job. So in the next few months I hope to get some progress on this. Thanks for watching.